Lewis, my man, he has come through for Leafs Nation. We've been preaching, and he knows it. We all have been preaching defense. We need defense. We need defense. And what does he go out and do today? Not too long ago, the Leafs acquire Jake Muzzin from the Los Angeles Kings in exchange for Carl Grundstrom, Sean Durzi, and the Leafs 2019 first-round pick. Now, Leaf fans, don't fall in love with those names that I mentioned and the first-round pick, because I'm going to break down what Jake Muzzin is in a little bit here. First things first, let's talk about Jake Muzzin as a whole and what he will bring to the Toronto Maple Leafs. First things first, the hits, everyone's talking about the Leafs not being a physical team, not a team that lays the body, and they get rubbed down there. They're not a very tough team to face. The Leafs hit leader on defense, Nikita Zaitsev, 82 hits. Jake Muzzin has 111, and he is 6'3", 213. He's got 21 points in 50-odd games. 50 games, actually. It's not bad. He's not an offensive killer. He's not going to get 50, 60 points a year. And on a terrible LA team, he's a plus 10. Now, if you look into the plus-minus stats, you guys can go right ahead. If you're like, it's a meaningless stat, then fine, so be it. But what I love to look at is those hits, and he's 6'3", and he's a guy that is going to slot right in nicely with this decor. Now, what does it mean for Jake Gardiner's future? Well, I think it's pretty much saying itself, you know, what that kind of means. Jake Muzzin is making $4 million this year and next year, so the Leafs aren't getting a rental player. They're getting a guy for, what, a year and a half at least. You know, but like I said, what does that mean for Jake Gardiner? Well, I don't know. In my eyes, that's kind of like yeah, we love you. We want you to play for this team this year. We want to go for a cup run, but you're probably not coming back next year. But getting a guy like Jake Muzzin, guys, he's 29 years old. He's right in the prime of his career. Ideally, you can say maybe he's a little bit older than you would like, but come on. You got rid of a second-round pick in Carl Grundstrom. Has he been good in the AHL? Yeah, 21-year-old winger. Do the Leafs need any wingers? No, they really don't, people. I mean, if you guys think they do, I don't know what team you're watching. And he hasn't been over-the-top great for the Toronto Marlies. He's been good. Every time he touches the ice, he's been good for the Marlies. But Carl Grundstrom, that's fine by me. The other one, they gave up Sean Durzi, right-handed defenseman, just drafted this past year by the Leafs. Everyone's going to freak out when they hear right-handed defenseman, but guys, relax. Who is Sean Durzi to other than a right-handed defenseman? A good puck-moving defense. Do the Leafs need any more of those? No. And by the way, the Leafs did not have to give up Timothy Liljegren or Rasmus Sandin. That's why I'm totally okay with it. In the first-round pick, guys, it's going to be late. It's going to be 20 plus. Fine. I don't care. Basically a second-round pick, depending on how far the Leafs go and all that. But getting a guy like Jake Muzzin is fantastic. Now, according to Darren Dreger, I was reading it on Twitter. Let's just find that right here. As per Mike Babcock, apparently, I think this is as per Mike Babcock, Muzzin will partner with Morgan Rielly. Thank the Lord, the Rielly-Hainsey pairing is no more. And what this also does, where's Ron Hainsey going to go? Well, Gardiner and Zaitsev apparently is still going to be a thing. But Travis Dermott is going to be playing with Ron Hainsey. And I don't know about you guys, but I love that. I mean, look at all the snotballs Travis Dermott's had to play with lately. Igor Oshiganov, who hasn't been bad, but he's never played in the NHL before this season, so Dermott's kind of the veteran to him. Martin Marincin, we know what that's all about. And last year he played with Roman Polak. So, put it into perspective, you get a guy like Ron Hainsey, who's been on the top pairing, he's won a cup, Ron Hainsey's the guy you want with Travis Dermott. I love the looks of that first pairing, and I adore that third pairing. The second one with Gardiner and Zaitsev, well, I think we all know all our feelings towards that. But getting a guy like Jake Muzzin, who in the National Hockey League is tied for 41st in the entire league in hits, forwards, and defense, with 111. Guys, remember when the Leafs were at home and they took on the Colorado Avalanche? We all know that game not too long ago. If you guys were watching it hard, you remember Nikita Zadorov, where it was laying bodies left and right, and we're like, man, this guy's a tank. He's a freight train out there. He has one hit more. One more hit than Jake Muzzin. And Jake Muzzin put up 20-plus points on a terrible L.A. team and was a plus 10 on a terrible Los Angeles Kings team. I love it. Sean Durzi, I would have loved to see him grow through the Leafs organization, but we really have no clue what he's going to end up being. Grundstrom, you haven't really seen much about, except for some pretty good AHL games. And the first round pick's going to be fairly late. For Jake Muzzin, who is damn good, people, get used to it. Kyle Dubas, I think I can speak for all of Leafs Nation right here when I say thank you. And he knows that we needed it. He knew it from day one, really. And he went out there and he got it. Now, were we all hoping for a guy like Alex Pietrangelo or Colton Parayko or guys like that, right? Dougie Hamilton, Brett Pesce, guys in the Carolina Hurricanes? Maybe. But with those names, with those guys, you might have had to give up some big... You might have had to give up a Liljegren. You might have to give up a Sandin. Those might have been the asking prices, and the Leafs were like, we ain't trading those guys away. That's our young talent on our back end. So instead, they part ways with a couple second-round picks, their former second-round picks, and they get rid of their first-round pick this year, which is going to be mid to late. More or less to the late part. I love this deal, guys. I really do. You did not give up any guys that have extremely promising futures with the Leafs. And you got a guy that is going to slot right into your first defensive pairing on the right side with Morgan Rielly. Thank you very much. I love it. I absolutely love it, people. If anybody does not like it, just hang on and wait. And I love the timing of when Kyle Dubas made this trade. He did not wait to the trade deadline. You know, he did not wait to the very end and make a sporadic trade. Apparently, him and Rob Blake, the GM of the L.A. Kings, former amazing defenseman for the Colorado Avalanche for the most part, they've been talking about this trade for months. And have we heard Jake Muzzin's name in any trade talks? No. That tells you right there, people, the media doesn't do squat. Just let the guys do their thing. Or, sorry, not months, sorry. It says here, Darren Dreger says, and I quote, Rob Blake and Kyle Dubas have been discussing this trade for the last few weeks. So it's not something they whipped up in a blender, and here you guys go. They've been working on it, and I love look, it's good for the Kings, because they trade a guy that he's 29 years old, you're going through a rebuild, and you acquire two guys that are 21 and 20 years old, and you get a first-round pick. There. They enjoy that, and for the Leafs, you get something we have been needing for quite some time. A defenseman that we can rely on. Now, obviously, you know, you want to see if he can do it in a Leafs uniform, but the reason I said I love this so much, the Leafs have played 49 games. All right? They have a total of 33 remaining before the playoffs. Trade deadline isn't until the end of February. And Kyle Dubas had this deal, and he's like, you know what? Let's make it happen. Let's let Jake Muzzin feel at home with this team. It may take him 5-10 games to get into the swing of Leafs hockey. But eventually, he will get used to it, and he'll have probably some really solid games late in the year heading into the playoffs instead of some Brian Boyle, Thomas Plekanec's garbage. You trade them on expiring contracts, you acquire them at the deadline. You don't give up much, but you don't really get much. In this, you're not only getting him for getting a great player, you're getting him for a year and a half at least if you can't re-sign him at the end of next year. Because you got to remember, people, Patrick Marleau, Ron Hainsey, and Jake Muzzin's contract at the end of next season. You'll have your big guys signed. You'll have Marner, Matthews, Nylander re-signed. Hopefully. Possibly Kapanen. We don't know the whole spiel on that. So will you be able to afford Jake Muzzin? Well, with the 6.25, I think it is, of Patrick Marleau gone, Ron Hainsey, actually, I think he's gone at the end of this year, isn't he? That's like 2.5. You know, you guys can do the math about the whole contract situation. Jake Gardner's probably going to be gone at the end of this year now that we see this the way it is. So, I love this deal in all aspects. He's only making $4 million. He's going to impact this team a ton. I can't wait to watch Jake Muzzin in a Leafs jersey. It's exciting, people. Enjoy it, Leafs Nation. And what, you know, I love when Dubas did it, but buddy, it's January 28th. The first game's back for hockey is tonight, but the Leafs don't play what, till the 1st? The Friday. Today's only Monday. We got to wait 4 days, 3 days. We're going to do the math. I mean, if you guys count today and you guys count game days, probably like 5 days, but Leafs fans, let's be happy. Before the All-Star break, you smush the Washington Capitals. 6-3. During the All-Star break, you see Matthews, you see John Tavares. They had a great time, even though it was kind of terrible to watch. Except for Austin Matthews wearing Marlowe's jersey. That was classic. I love that. And then you acquire Jake Muzzin. I love it. And now we get to take on Detroit on Friday night with, I'm assuming Jake Muzzin's going to be playing. I can't wait, people. I'm excited. I know you guys probably are, right? So you know what, guys? That is going to do it for this one. You guys enjoy the video, and you guys are jacked up for Jake Muzzin being a Toronto Maple Leaf. By the way, Woodstock, Ontario native. Just going to fire that in there for you guys, that he is the hometown, for the most part, hometown kid. So there you go. All right, so I don't know, some more homegrown that want to be Leafs. That's what you like to hear. And hit the like button if you guys enjoyed this one. Hit the subscribe button if you guys have not already. Comment down below what your thoughts are on this deal. I love it. You didn't have to give up any of your blue chip prospects in Sandin and Liljegren, and you acquired a guy in Jake Muzzin, not for a rental, for a 1.5 years at least. And he's a great player. He's going to fit into this team so nicely alongside of Morgan Rielly. Oh, I can't wait to watch this take form. I want to hear your guys' comments on this trade. You think the Leafs did a good job? You think they got shafted? Do you think the Kings did a good job? Or did they get shafted? I want to hear what you guys have to say about this trade. And Evan and I will talk to you guys podcast edition Wednesday afternoon. And you damn well know for sure this topic will be discussed. Links are in the description for the podcast channel, guys, and for the podcast itself on iTunes. Twitter is also down below. Follow up, send me a DM, do all that great stuff, and I will talk to you guys Raptors edition Thursdays. They're at home taking on the Milwaukee Bucks, but who cares right now, because the Leafs just acquired Jake Muzzin. And speaking of those Leafs, their next game, as we said, is February the 1st, as the Leafs head to Little Caesars Arena, taking on the Detroit Red Wings. 7:30 puck drop. Freddie Anderson, Jimmy Howard. Hey, Freddie, you have another tool to work with, bud. You have an actual half-decent defenseman playing for you. You're welcome. I thank Kyle Dubas for it, at least. And I'm going to leave you guys with this. Jake Muzzin is a Toronto Maple Leaf, and I can't wait to watch him play. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you guys then.